Commander Alex Harper stood at the viewport of Luna Base, his eyes fixed on the blue marble of Earth hanging in the void. The message in his hand felt heavy despite its digital nature. 3 human colony worlds gone. Millions dead. The evidence was now undeniable. "Commander," Dr. Olivia Bennett's voice broke his concentration. She entered his office with a tablet displaying more decoded transmissions. "You need to see this." Harper swiped through the files, his jaw tightening with each image. The destruction was methodical, precise, and unmistakably deliberate. Colony ships torn apart, habitats burning, defense outposts reduced to debris fields. "We've identified 7 distinct alien species involved in the attacks," Bennett explained, her voice clinical despite the horror in her eyes. "They appear to be working together in a coalition. We're calling them the Hegemony based on fragments of their communications." Harper nodded, processing this information. "And we're certain this wasn't a misunderstanding. Not a territorial dispute gone wrong." "No chance," Bennett replied, pulling up intercepted communications. These were translated from 3 different alien languages. They specifically targeted our colonies because they were human. And there's more. They're planning additional attacks. Harper's comm unit chimed. "The Security Council is assembling in 10 minutes, Commander. Your presence is required." The emergency meeting chamber was filled with grim faces when Harper arrived. Admiral Laura Wilson, head of Earth's Defense Forces, stood at the center of the room. Holographic displays showed the devastation in brutal detail. "Ladies and gentlemen," Wilson began, "we face an existential threat. These attacks were coordinated and specifically targeted our species. Intelligence suggests the Hegemony considers human expansion a threat to their dominance in this sector of the galaxy." General Frank Daniels slammed his fist on the table. "We've been peaceful. Our colonies haven't threatened anyone." "It doesn't matter," Harper interjected. "They've decided we're a future threat to be eliminated now, before we grow stronger." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "What options do we have?" asked Counselor Grace Martinez. Admiral Wilson's expression hardened. "We've been developing advanced weapons systems and defensive technologies for decades, preparing for a day we hoped would never come. The quantum phase cannons and dimensional armor are ready for deployment. You're suggesting we strike back?" Martinez looked shocked. "I'm suggesting we do what's necessary to ensure the survival of our species," Wilson replied. All eyes turned to Harper as Wilson continued. "Commander Harper will lead a special task force with full operational authority. His mission will be to deliver a clear message to this hegemony and any who support them." Harper felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. "And what message is that, Admiral?" "That humanity will not go quietly. That we will defend ourselves with everything we have." Wilson's eyes were steel. "That there will be no mercy for those who have shown none to us." Later that day, Harper met Lieutenant Kate Morgan in the station's tactical room. Morgan's eyes were red-rimmed, but her posture was rigid with determination. "My brother was on Novaterra," she said without preamble. "Second colony hit. I want in on whatever you're planning." Harper studied her file on his tablet. "Top weapons specialist. Multiple commendations for innovation under pressure. You've heard about the task force." "Everyone has. Is it true we're going offensive?" Harper nodded slowly. "We're calling it Operation Thunderbolt. We've identified a hegemony staging area near Ta City. We strike there first, fast and hard." Morgan's expression didn't change. "Good. What are our objectives?" "Destroy their military capacity, gather intelligence on their command structure, and deliver a message." Harper pulled up the schematics for Earth's newest battleship. "The Vengeance will be ready in 72 hours. "And the message?" Morgan asked. Harper looked back toward Earth, visible through the station's main window. "That humanity has been pushed too far. That we now understand the rules of survival in this galaxy." His voice dropped to a near whisper. and that we will play by those rules from now on. The Vengeance emerged from hyperspace with a silent flash, its hull glistening with activated dimensional armor. Behind it, 5 smaller warships formed a perfect arrowhead formation. Commander Harper stood on the bridge, watching as the alien staging area came into view. 7 hegemony vessels detected. Lieutenant Ryan Carter announced from the tactical station. They haven't noticed us yet. Harper nodded grimly. Lieutenant Morgan, status on weapons. Morgan's fingers danced across her console. Quantum phase cannons at full charge. Dimensional torpedoes armed and ready. This is it, Harper said, addressing the bridge crew. Remember, we're not just fighting for the colonies we lost. We're fighting for Earth and every human who will ever live. He paused, letting his words sink in. Battle stations. Alarm klaxons sounded throughout the ship as crew members rushed to their positions. The dimensional armor hummed with energy, shifting through multiple phase states to provide nearly impenetrable defense. The hegemony ships are detecting us, Carter reported. They're scrambling to defensive positions. Harper's voice was cold. Too late for that. Target their command vessel and fire. The Vengeance shuddered as brilliant beams of energy lanced from its forward cannons. The shots connected with the largest alien vessel, bypassing its shields completely. The quantum phase technology allowed the energy to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, making conventional defenses useless. Direct hit, Morgan reported. Their command ship is crippled. The other human vessels opened fire, each targeting a specific enemy ship. The hegemony vessels attempted to return fire, but their weapons couldn't penetrate the dimensional armor. They're trying to run, Carter observed, studying his tactical display. 3 ships attempting to reach hyperspace coordinates. Harper leaned forward. Not happening. Lieutenant Carter, execute maneuver Theta. Carter grinned and transmitted orders to the smaller vessels. The human ships moved with perfect coordination, cutting off the escape routes and herding the alien vessels into a kill zone. Remarkable strategy, Lieutenant, Harper commented as the maneuver unfolded flawlessly. Thank you, sir, Carter replied. I've been studying alien movement patterns since the attacks. They're predictable once you understand their tactical doctrine. The battle was over in minutes. 6 hegemony ships destroyed, 1 disabled and drifting. Boarding teams ready, Commander, Morgan reported. We can capture the surviving vessel. Harper nodded. Proceed. I want prisoners and data. Dr. Bennett is standing by to analyze their systems. The boarding operation went smoothly. The human soldiers, wearing powered assault armor, encountered little resistance from the stunned alien crew. They secured the bridge and engineering sections quickly. Commander, Morgan's voice came through the comm. You need to see this. Harper joined the boarding team on the alien vessel. The ship's interior was filled with strange technologies and bizarre organic components, but what caught his attention was the command center. Their navigation system, Morgan explained, pointing to a holographic display. It shows every human colony, outpost, and exploration mission for the past 50 years. They've been watching us, planning this for decades. Harper studied the captured alien commander, a tall insectoid creature with compound eyes that reflected the dim emergency lighting. Dr. Bennett, can you communicate with it? Bennett activated her translation device. I believe so. Their language structure is similar to samples we recovered from the colony attacks. The alien commander chittered and clicked as Bennett's device translated. Your species was meant to die quietly. The hegemony has eliminated 17 rising civilizations before yours. You were supposed to be the 18th. Harper stepped closer to the alien. Then you gravely miscalculated. Transmit on all frequencies, Lieutenant Morgan. Morgan activated the ship's communication array. Harper spoke clearly, knowing his words would be broadcast across multiple star systems. This is Commander Alex Harper of Earth. Your attack on our colonies was your first and final mistake. The hegemony has declared war on humanity, and we accept your challenge. Be warned, there will be no mercy for those who have shown none to us. This is humanity's first and last warning to the galaxy. Station Epsilon hung in space at the edge of neutral territory, its gleaming metal arms rotating slowly to generate gravity. Inside the main conference chamber, representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered around a massive circular table. Ambassador William Fletcher adjusted his formal diplomatic uniform and studied the alien faces around him. Some he recognized from previous diplomatic missions. Others were unknown to him, species that had remained distant from human affairs until now. "We gather today to prevent further bloodshed," announced the Arbolian mediator, a tall, willowy being with silver skin. "The conflict between humanity and the hegemony threatens stability throughout this sector." Fletcher nodded respectfully, but his expression remained firm. "Humanity did not start this conflict. We responded to an unprovoked attack that killed millions of our people." Across the table, the hegemony delegation stirred. Their leader, a reptilian being named Orcs, leaned forward on 4 powerful arms. "Your species expanded into territories you had no right to claim. The colonies were violations of ancient boundaries. Boundaries we were never informed of," Fletcher countered. "We sent peaceful messages announcing our intentions before establishing each colony. We received no responses." Commander Harper and Lieutenant Morgan stood behind Fletcher, silent but watchful. Harper had argued against this diplomatic mission, believing it futile after the evidence they'd gathered. But Earth's leadership had insisted on one final attempt at peaceful resolution. "The human speaks truth," said a bulbous creature representing the Murga Confederation. "Our records show their transmission signals preceding each colonization." The hegemony chose not to respond. Vorks hissed, "Irrelevant. Lesser species must understand their place." Fletcher's eyes narrowed. "Lesser species." The room grew tense as Fletcher activated a holographic display. "During our investigation following the attacks, we discovered something disturbing." The hologram showed star maps and historical records. "The hegemony has systematically eliminated 17 emerging spacefaring civilizations over the past 3,000 years. Gasps and murmurs filled the chamber as the evidence appeared. Planet after planet, species after species, wiped out just as they reached for the stars. "This is your pattern," Fletcher continued. "You allow species to develop until they might potentially challenge your dominance. Then you eliminate them. You attempted to do the same to us." In the corner of the room, Morgan leaned close to Harper. "This isn't going anywhere," she whispered. "They won't change. They can't." Harper nodded slightly. "Fletcher is doing his job. We'll do ours if this fails." Vork stood abruptly, towering over the table. "These accusations are meaningless. The hegemony maintains order in the galaxy. We decide which species are worthy of advancement. And humanity didn't make your list," Fletcher stated calmly. "Yet here we stand, despite your attempt to wipe us out. We're offering one chance for peace. Withdraw your forces, acknowledge our right to exist, and we can coexist." "Naive," Vork sneered. "Your technological advancement was unexpected but temporary. You cannot stand against the combined might of the hegemony." The Arbolian mediator raised its slender arms. "Please, let us focus on solutions rather than—" A sudden explosion rocked the station. Alarms blared as smoke filled the chamber. Harper instinctively pulled Morgan down as energy weapons fired across the room. "Assassination squad," Harper shouted, drawing his sidearm. "Protect the ambassador." Through the chaos, Fletcher saw hegemony operatives methodically targeting neutral species who had spoken in humanity's favor. The mediator collapsed, a burning hole in its chest. Security forces rushed in, but the damage was done. 6 delegates lay dead, including those most sympathetic to Earth's position. "This was their plan all along," Fletcher said grimly as Harper helped him to safety. "They never intended to negotiate." Later, aboard the Vengeance, Fletcher stared at the emergency transmission from Earth. The Security Council had voted unanimously after news of the Station Epsilon massacre spread throughout human space. "It's done then," Fletcher said, handing the tablet to Harper. Full military authorization against all hegemony worlds. Harper accepted it solemnly. I'm sorry your mission failed, Ambassador. I'm not, Fletcher replied, his eyes hard. Now I understand what we're facing. There can be no peace with those who see us only as vermin to be exterminated. Morgan checked her weapon. So what happens now? Harper's expression was grim. Now we show them exactly what humanity is capable of when fighting for its survival. The underground laboratory beneath Luna Base hummed with energy as Dr. Olivia Bennett worked. Screens displayed ancient data recovered from Earth's most classified archives. Weapons research deemed too dangerous for use, locked away centuries ago. Are you certain about this? Bennett asked, not looking up as Commander Harper entered the lab. The Security Council is certain, Harper replied. After the massacre at Station Epsilon, there's no turning back. What have you found? Bennett gestured to the displays. Our ancestors developed technologies they feared to use. Artificial intelligence systems designed specifically for warfare. Autonomous weapons platforms with decision-making capabilities beyond anything we currently deploy. The Prometheus Protocol, Harper read from one screen. Yes, a weaponized AI system that can infiltrate enemy networks, learn their weaknesses, and exploit them in ways no human could imagine. Bennett turned to face Harper. It was deemed too dangerous because it could evolve beyond our control. And now it's our best hope, Harper said quietly. In another section of Luna Base, Lieutenant Kate Morgan supervised the loading of new combat drones into launch tubes. These weren't the standard reconnaissance units humanity had used before. These were hunter-killers, designed to infiltrate hegemony space and target their military installations. Each unit carries a quantum phase disruptor, Morgan explained to the technicians. They can phase through conventional shields and defenses. Once deployed, they'll operate autonomously using the new tactical AI systems. A young engineer looked troubled. Lieutenant, these units don't have the standard ethical constraints in their programming. Morgan's face remained impassive. Those constraints were removed by direct order. We're not fighting the conventional war anymore. On Earth, the vast shipyards that once built exploration vessels now produced warships at unprecedented rates. Director Samuel Wright walked through the main assembly area, where the skeletal frames of 24 destroyers took shape beneath swarms of construction drones. We've converted all commercial production capacity to military purposes, Wright told the visiting admiral. Every factory, every fabricator, every printer on Earth and Mars is now building components for the war effort. How long until the new fleet is ready? The admiral asked. 3 weeks for the first wave. The dimensional armor technology has been streamlined for mass production. The new quantum drives are twice as efficient as anything the hegemony has. The admiral nodded, watching workers install a massive weapons array. Our intelligence suggests they're preparing a counterattack. Let them try, Wright said grimly. The prediction proved accurate. 2 days later, a hegemony battle group appeared near Alpha Centauri, humanity's oldest colony. Lieutenant Ryan Carter, commanding the defense fleet, watched their approach on his tactical display. They're using a standard pincer formation, Carter observed. Predictable. His executive officer looked nervous. Sir, they outnumber us 3-1. Carter smiled slightly. Numbers don't matter anymore. He activated his neural link to the ship's tactical AI. Instantly, information flooded his mind. Probabilities, trajectories, weaknesses in the enemy formation. All ships, execute pattern Sigma, Carter ordered. Tactical AI integration authorized at full capacity. The human ships moved with perfect coordination, exploiting gaps in the hegemony formation that were invisible to normal analysis. The new weapons tore through enemy shields as if they weren't there. Back on Luna Base, Dr. Bennett monitored the battle through data feeds. Harper stood beside her, watching the human ships move with almost supernatural precision. The AI integration is working better than expected, Bennett noted. Carter's tactics are. I've never seen anything like this. Harper nodded, but his expression remained troubled. We're evolving too quickly. The neutral species are already withdrawing their representatives from Earth. They fear what we're becoming. Bennett turned to face him. What choice do we have? The hegemony won't stop until we're extinct. I know, Harper said quietly, but I can't help wondering. Once this war is over, will we recognize ourselves anymore? An alert flashed on Bennett's screen. Commander, we've decoded more of the hegemony archives from that captured ship. You need to see this. The screen displayed evidence of 17 previous species, all systematically exterminated by the hegemony once they reached a certain level of technological development. Images of destroyed worlds, extinct civilizations, and meticulous records of genocide filled the display. Harper's face hardened. Send this to Earth immediately. The Security Council needs to see what we're really fighting against. The red emergency lights bathed the command center in an eerie glow as Commander Harper watched the footage from Mars. The hegemony superweapon had struck without warning, boring through planetary defenses and destabilizing the terraforming systems. 20 million colonists were fighting for survival as the atmosphere thinned and temperatures plummeted. Casualty estimates? Harper asked, his voice strained. Lieutenant Carter looked up from his console, face pale. Current projections indicate over 15 million dead within the next 48 hours. The rest might be evacuated if we can get enough ships there. The command center fell silent. This wasn't a military target. Mars was primarily civilian. Families, researchers, farmers. They've crossed the final line, Harper said quietly. Get me Earth Command. Admiral Wilson's hologram appeared, her face drawn with grief and rage. I assume you've seen the Mars attack. Yes, Admiral. Public response. Total war, Wilson replied without hesitation. The Security Council vote was unanimous. All restrictions on military operations have been lifted. The stellar destabilization technology has been authorized for deployment. Harper felt a chill run through him. That technology could temporarily disrupt a star's fusion processes, not enough to destroy it, but enough to cause devastating solar flares that would score planetary surfaces clean. Understood, he said simply. Lieutenant Morgan entered the command center, her posture rigid with controlled fury. Commander, the enhanced strike teams are ready. The Lazarus modifications have been successfully implemented. Harper studied her face, noting the subtle changes. Her eyes seemed sharper, more focused. The genetic modifications were already taking effect. Your team will target the hegemony leadership directly, Harper told her. Intelligence has located their command center on their homeworld. We need prisoners who can order a surrender. Morgan nodded. My team will deliver. The enhancements are impressive. We're stronger, faster, our reaction times have doubled. And the side effects? A flicker of something. Pain. Concern. Crossed Morgan's face. Manageable. Some aggression issues. Elevated heart rate. Reduced need for sleep. Nothing we can't handle. Harper wasn't so sure, but they had no choice now. Earth was deploying everything in its arsenal. Dr. Bennett entered with a data tablet. Commander, I've completed analysis of the hegemony historical archives. It's worse than we thought. She placed the tablet on the table, displaying images of extinct civilizations. 17 species completely eradicated. Some were peaceful explorers, others barely developed enough for interstellar travel. The hegemony has been systematically eliminating potential competitors for over 20,000 years. Harper scrolled through the evidence, feeling sick. They were never going to allow us to exist alongside them, were they? No, Bennett confirmed. Their philosophy is clear. They believe only their coalition deserves to control the stars. Everyone else is simply a resource to be harvested or a threat to be eliminated. Harper's communication device chimed. It was Director Wright from Earth's defense production facilities. The 1st Enhanced Battalion has been deployed to the Mars rescue operation, Wright reported. Their performance is extraordinary. They're operating in areas where the atmosphere is almost gone, rescuing colonists no normal human could reach. "And the fleet?" Harper asked. "The stellar manipulation vessels are ready, awaiting your command for target selection." Harper looked around at his senior staff. "Recommendations for first demonstration." Carter spoke up. "The Hegemony's main shipyard orbits a yellow dwarf star in the Procyon system. It's isolated enough that we can minimize collateral damage to non-combatants." Harper nodded. "Make the preparations." As the command center staff executed their orders, Harper received another communication, this time from Earth's diplomatic corps. The message was brief but concerning. 3 previously neutral species had withdrawn their representatives from human space without explanation. Long-range sensors detected their ships moving rapidly away from all human control areas. "They're afraid of us," Bennett observed quietly. "Of what we're becoming." Harper watched the tactical display as human ships, now faster and more powerful than anything the Hegemony had ever encountered, moved into attack positions throughout contested space. "Perhaps they should be," he replied. "We tried peace. We tried coexistence. Now we'll show the galaxy what happens when humanity is pushed beyond its breaking point." The massive screen in Earth's Security Council chamber displayed real-time footage of Commander Harper's fleet surrounding the 7 Hegemony core worlds. 300 human warships, their dimensional armor gleaming in the light of alien suns, held position in perfect formation. The council members watched in silence as Harper's hologram addressed them. "The Hegemony leadership has been captured," Harper reported. "Lieutenant Morgan's strike team extracted them from their central command facility with minimal casualties on our side." Admiral Wilson nodded in approval. "And their military response? Fragmented and disorganized. Without central command, their ships are operating independently. We're neutralizing them systematically." Harper's expression remained grim. "Lieutenant Morgan is returning with the prisoners now." The council chamber doors opened as Morgan entered, followed by 6 armed guards escorting 3 alien beings. The Hegemony leaders were physically imposing. Tall, with exoskeletons and multiple limbs, but they seemed diminished now, their once proud posture reduced to a fearful crouch. "These are the architects of genocide," Morgan announced, her enhanced eyes scanning the room with unnatural precision. "The ruling triumvirate of the Hegemony." Harper's hologram addressed the aliens directly. "You will stand trial for crimes against humanity and 17 other species you have eliminated. The proceedings will be broadcast to every world in the galaxy." The largest of the aliens raised its head. "You have no authority over us, human. The Hegemony has ruled the stars since before your kind crawled from the oceans." "Your rule is over," Admiral Wilson replied coldly. Dr. Bennett entered the chamber, carrying a data cube. "We've completed analysis of their central archives. We now have complete records of every species they've destroyed." She activated a holographic display showing worlds burning, civilizations crumbling, species vanishing one by one. "Their pattern is always the same. Identify emerging intelligent life, monitor its development, and eliminate it once it achieves interstellar capability." The evidence was damning and meticulously documented. The Hegemony hadn't just killed competitors, they had kept trophies, recorded the extinctions, and celebrated each successful genocide. As the trial proceeded, Lieutenant Carter contacted Harper's flagship with urgent news. "Commander, we've detected unusual activity in the Hegemony's remaining military bases. Energy signatures suggest they're preparing some kind of final strike against Earth." Harper's eyes narrowed. "Location: a previously unknown installation in the Epsilon Eridani system. They're gathering their remaining ships there. Intelligence suggests a suicide attack using converted fusion drives as kinetic weapons." "How long do we have?" "Hours at most," Carter replied. "They're desperate. They know they've lost, so they're planning to take as many humans with them as possible." Harper made his decision instantly. "Lieutenant Morgan will lead a preemptive strike. Use the enhanced soldiers and the new stealth vessels. Stop them before they launch." Morgan received her orders while still at Earth. "Understood, Commander. My team is ready." She departed immediately with 3 ships carrying soldiers modified by the Lazarus Initiative. Their vessels, using phase shift technology, would be invisible to hegemony sensors until they were already inside the enemy installation. While Morgan's team moved to neutralize the final threat, Harper prepared to deliver humanity's message to the galaxy. His flagship moved into position near a medium-sized star in neutral space, where representatives from 30 civilizations had gathered to witness the demonstration. Attention to all galactic civilizations, Harper's transmission began, broadcast in all known languages. For too long, the hegemony has decided which species may live and which must die. Humanity rejects this order. We present evidence of their systematic genocide against 17 innocent civilizations before us. The broadcast showed the trial evidence, the meticulous records of extinction events planned and executed by the hegemony over thousands of years. Then Harper continued. Humanity issues this final warning to the galaxy. We claim the right to exist, to expand, to grow without threat of extinction. We will defend this right with all means at our disposal to demonstrate our capability and our resolve. Observe. At Harper's command signal, the stellar manipulation ship activated its technology. The star beside them flickered, dimmed, and then went completely dark. For 30 seconds, it remained extinguished, a black void where a sun had been. Then, with another command, the fusion processes reignited, and the star blazed back to life. The observation deck of Earth's orbital headquarters offered a panoramic view of the planet below and the stars beyond. Commander Alex Harper stood alone, watching ships come and go, some military, others civilian, all part of humanity's expanding influence across the galaxy. 6 months had passed since the final hegemony surrender. The former ruling species now existed under strict human oversight, their military dismantled, their territories reduced to their homeworlds alone. The other species that had made up their coalition had quickly distanced themselves, pledging neutrality or even alliance with Earth. Admiring your handiwork, Dr. Bennett asked, joining him at the viewport. Harper smiled faintly, contemplating it. Sometimes I wonder if we went too far. The hegemony gave us no choice, Bennett reminded him. 17 extinct species would agree, if they could. Harper nodded. The Terran protective sphere, humanity's new defense perimeter, now extended across what had once been hegemony space. Lieutenant Morgan and Lieutenant Carter led the peacekeeping forces stationed at critical border zones, ensuring the terms of surrender were followed. How are the enhanced soldiers adapting? Harper asked. Bennett's expression grew serious. The physical modifications were easier to manage than the psychological ones. Morgan reports some cases of aggression and paranoia among her troops. We're working on treatments, but the Lazarus changes were never meant to be permanent. And the Prometheus Protocol? Contained for now. The weaponized AI systems have been isolated from main networks. Some council members want them permanently deactivated, but others argue we might need them again. Their conversation was interrupted as Director Wright arrived with several alien representatives, tall, willowy beings with luminescent skin that Harper recognized as Alturians, a species that had remained neutral during the conflict. Commander Harper, the lead Alturian, greeted him, its voice melodic. We have reviewed your proposed communication protocols for interspecies relations. My government finds them acceptable. Harper bowed slightly. I'm pleased to hear that. Dr. Bennett designed the system specifically to prevent the kind of misunderstandings that contributed to the war. A wise precaution, the Alturian agreed. Many species now seek to communicate with humans, some out of fear, others out of respect. And your people? Bennett asked. Curiosity, the alien replied. You humans are unique in our experience, capable of terrible destruction, yet equally capable of mercy. You could have eliminated the hegemony entirely, yet you chose restraint. After the Alturians departed, Harper received a communication from Lieutenant Morgan. Her hologram appeared, standing in what looked like a former hegemony command center. Status report, Lieutenant. Harper asked. Peaceful, mostly, Morgan replied. The local government is complying with all terms. Carter's team on the other side of the sector reports the same. She paused, then added, We're beginning to see the first attempts at cultural exchange. Some of the younger hegemony members seem genuinely interested in human history. Surprising, Harper commented. Morgan shrugged. They've lived their entire lives being told they were superior to all other life. Now they know differently. It's changing them. After Morgan's report, Harper made his way to the Security Council chamber for the day's session. The topic was the formalization of the Pax Humana doctrine, the new rules for interspecies relations throughout human-controlled space. Ambassador Fletcher, who had survived the Station Epsilon massacre, presented the final draft. The doctrine establishes clear boundaries, fair treatment for all species, and firm consequences for aggression. It's built on the principle that diversity of intelligent life is to be protected, not eliminated. Harper listened as the council debated minor points. Earth had changed in these past months. Humanity had been forced to confront its own capacity for violence, its willingness to cross moral lines for survival. Yet somehow, they had maintained enough of their humanity to stop short of becoming what they fought against. Commander Harper stood alone on the bridge of the Vengeance, watching as Earth grew smaller in the view screen. After 3 years serving as the head of humanity's defense forces, he had finally accepted a new mission: to lead the first long-term exploration fleet into unknown space. Going to miss it? Lieutenant Morgan asked, joining him at the viewport. The reversal of her genetic enhancements had been successful, though she still moved with a grace that hinted at her former abilities. Not as much as I expected, Harper admitted. Earth has changed. The galaxy has changed. Maybe it's time I did too. Behind them, the bridge crew prepared for the jump to hyperspace. 20 ships formed their expedition fleet, a mix of scientific vessels, colony ships, and military escorts. Humanity was expanding again, but this time with caution and wisdom earned through bitter experience. Final communication from Earth Command, announced the communications officer. Admiral Wilson sends her regards and reminds you that exploration, not expansion, is your primary mission. Harper nodded. The distinction was important. The Pax Humana doctrine had established clear rules for human advancement into new territories. No claiming of inhabited systems, mandatory contact protocols before any colonization, and respect for all sentient life forms. Dr. Bennett entered the bridge, carrying her personal research equipment. The new long-range sensors are online. We'll be able to detect signs of intelligent life months before we reach their systems. Good, Harper replied. No more surprises. Lieutenant Carter joined them, now serving as Harper's second-in-command. The last supply ships have docked. We're ready to depart on your order. Harper surveyed his team one final time. These people had fought beside him during humanity's darkest hours. Now they would lead its greatest journey. Signal the fleet, Harper ordered. Begin jump sequence. As the stars stretched into lines around them, Harper reflected on the changed galaxy he left behind. The former hegemony worlds were rebuilding under human guidance, their younger generations being taught a different way of viewing the universe. The 17 extinct species had been memorialized, their histories preserved from the hegemony archives. Most surprising had been the discovery of survivors. 3 species thought completely eliminated had been found hiding in remote systems, maintaining minimal technology to avoid detection. Earth had welcomed them, offering protection and assistance in rebuilding their civilizations. First stop is Proxima Centauri V, Carter reminded him. We'll establish the outer monitoring post there before continuing to unexplored regions. Harper nodded. The monitoring network was essential. An early warning system to ensure Earth would never again be caught unprepared. The memory of Mars was still fresh, the rebuilt colonies a constant reminder of what they had nearly lost. What do you think we'll find out there? Morgan asked, gazing at the swirling hyperspace patterns. Hopefully nothing like the hegemony, Harper replied. But if we do, he left the sentence unfinished. They all understood. Humanity's warning to the galaxy remained in effect. They came in peace, offering friendship to all who would accept it. But they would never again be victims. As the fleet traveled deeper into unexplored space, Ambassador Fletcher delivered regular updates to Earth. The diplomatic infrastructure he had helped build was functioning well. Former enemies were becoming trading partners. Knowledge and culture flowed between worlds that had once sought only to destroy each other. Your mission has captured the public imagination, Fletcher told Harper during their weekly communication. Children are studying astronomy again. Applications to the Space Academy have tripled. Harper smiled at this news. Fear had united humanity during the war. Now curiosity and hope were driving them forward. 6 months into their journey, the fleet discovered something unexpected. The ruins of an ancient civilization spread across 3 star systems. The technology was unlike anything they had seen before, neither human nor hegemony in origin. It predates both our civilizations by thousands of years, Bennett reported after preliminary analysis. And there's evidence they were fleeing from something. Harper studied the data, feeling both wonder and concern. Document everything, and increase our alert status. Whatever they were running from might still be out there.